Law of assumption, I thought, how did I not hear of this? Law of attraction is all over the place. But law of assumption, that's a whole new other level.
So much more powerful than law of attraction. In fact, you would probably never even mention law of attraction again if you actually understood how it works.
Neville Goddard's law of assumption literally changed my life.
Neville Goddard says this: your experiences throughout your life are determined by your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious.
Neville Goddard, back in the 1930s, like, this is stuff that quantum physics is now showing, but yeah, he was teaching it back then.
It makes law of attraction look like kindergarten. Like a lot of people who discovered the law of assumption, or Neville Goddard's The Law, I was going through a really challenging time. I found myself on the metaphoric floor of despair after a breakup, and I was looking for inspiration. I suppose in the form of YouTube videos. I would do a lot of meditations, and somehow Neville Goddard popped into my field and all these different law of assumption coaches.
Note the first reactions. If something happens externally, Aaron says something not ideal, X says something, he's being a jackass, whatever, like, just make note, like, be very, very keenly aware this week.
So I watched all these different videos, and when I noticed that one of my heroes, Dr. Joe Dispenza, was talking about it, I really started to listen.
If you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny, like any great leader in history understands that, the first thing you have to do is you have to decide, are you going to be defined by a vision of the future, or are you going to live by the memories of the past?
I met my boyfriend a little less than 3 years ago. Somehow, this great guy and I found each other only 4 months after the split with my ex, the father of my child. And although I wasn't looking, he just was wonderful. He just fit into our lives. He loved my son. We ended up being in a relationship for over 2.5 years. In the beginning, as it often is, it was just really perfect and magical, and I think we both felt like we had found our person. He really wanted to get married and have a family. And because he was adopted, he really embraced my son as his own. And it just was great. As what happens in relationships, we both had our unfinished business come up. We were questioning, are we the people that we thought? Was this gonna work? The breakup with the father of my child was so challenging. I had a lot of fear about having another family with someone else, specifically another child. What if it didn't work out? And then I had 2 kids with 2 different fathers. It just really rung in my mind over and over again. And finally, in May, we had some argument and he left, but this was a breakup. And I went into a really deep hole. It was weird because this breakup, there were so many similarities from this one and the last one, despite them being completely different people. And that always stuck out to me.
Unfortunately, when some of us first discovered these philosophies, we discovered them from a very dark mental space. We were feeling hopeless and powerless, and so we decided to try this thing called manifestation as a last-ditch effort to fix what was wrong in our lives. We Googled things like how to get my ex back, or how to manifest my ex, how to manifest my specific person. We even settled for how to manifest a text message from my ex. So many of us have fallen into the trap of manifesting from without, or at least attempting to, when all manifestation starts from within.
I went to so many friends and family. I went to intuitives, psychics, asking what they thought. Are we going to get back together? What should I do? So what was that? For people who don't know.
It was light language, and it doesn't translate in words. It translates to a frequency and a remembering. What is the percentage then with your gender? 100%. You're tapping into universal knowledge, and the connection that you have. It's really also what the amount of a clear channel you are is really what defines the efficacy of the pendulum. I've been doing psychic medium work for about 15 or 16 years. I ask to be shown another lifetime that is relevant to this lifetime, and instantly it will drop me into seeing them in another reality. So I'm doing it with my eyes open. I can do it with eyes open or eyes closed, but I see them living. It's like I'm watching a movie. I can see it just as clearly as what this reality looks like. I know Alex, and she called me and said, I'm interested in doing a reading.
The pendulum said that he would contact me, and things were looking bleak. You know, we had no contact, very little contact. He seemed very angry and cold. And here it is, the pendulum saying he'll contact by July 29th.
What do you say when people are like, well, you're holding it, you're controlling it? How do you?
I don't usually have people say that. Go more counterclockwise. Pick up speed. Pick up speed. We are all the creators of our own reality. What I have seen and understood inside of being a channel is that imagination is simply tapping into a reality that already exists.
And that would mean there'd be copies of us out there. There'd be copies of us.
An infinite number of copies
out there.
An infinite number of copies of us.
I know that, you know, he went on dating sites, and before we met, he was dating a lot of different people, and he's very attractive. So a lot of fears crept in. It's just my fear, my worst fear seemed to come up. And even though my kid was okay, I wasn't okay. I was crying all the time. Like, all the time. And it was really hard for me to get out of bed. If it wasn't for having to get him to school, I don't even know.
Can you wake up and get out of bed, please?
Yeah, sorry, babe.
So, how do you change someone? How do you change a behavior that you may not like? Or how do you change an attitude that somebody is giving you? You have to change the assumption. And how do you change the assumption? You got to change the story. Going forward, I want you to imagine that person saying loving, kind things and having a lovely interaction with them. And again, I know this may seem silly if this is your first time hearing about this or you're new to manifesting, but I strongly encourage, with everything that I teach, just as Neville did, I need you all to try it. Just test it for yourself.
It may seem incredible, but it is true. The world in which we live is a world of imagination. In fact, life itself is an activity of imagining. All that we behold, though it appears without, it is within, in our imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow.
I haven't realized how much power I can have just in the imaginal state, and that I don't have to argue with anyone in the 3D anymore. I just have to imagine. I just have to imagine the scenario. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm always misunderstood, so I have to speak with my mouth and over-explain myself. No. Just go in the imaginal state, deal with it there. But it's only been a little over a week. So it's absolutely a great start, and I'm excited to see these tests come into fruition. I am. Okay, on to the work, meditation.
The first test that I did was I was feeling stress about this parking spot that I needed to rent. It helped pay the property taxes. I, for whatever reason, didn't know if I could find someone, and I realized that it was playing out. So in my head, I decided to go into my imaginal state and manifest a situation where maybe someone who had a motorcycle or that didn't have a large car that wanted a long-term situation. And it would just happen easily. I just knew that the universe is going to find a way to offer the best outcome, the best long-term outcome for this situation. What do you know? I get a message, a text on my phone. We found someone. Venmos me the money, and it's done. Crazy. Yes. Can you say yes?
Time is not linear, so everything is happening in this moment and everything is changing and can change in this moment. One way to look at the Akashic Records is that you just see yourself as a character in the play, and that something outside of you is the one making all of the choices which affects what are in the Akashic Records. Using the law of assumption is that you are the creator. It's understanding that all of your beliefs and all of your blocks and all of your understandings and self-concept, self-worth, the way you move through the world, your entire reality is defined by you. So you can use the Akashic Records and law of assumption as one. The Akashic Records essentially would give you the information, the data points of how you are doing, how you are currently running your show.
For giving me the teeth whitening kit. Oh, thank you. Specifically the one that like plugs into the phone. A free teeth whitening kit. They're gonna offer me.
That's the whitening line.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to try one.
Okay, I would probably have to give you one.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god, thank you so much.
No problem.
That's so cool. Thank you. Well, that worked. Got my brightening kit.
There is no free will, because in your reality, everyone is going to conform the way that you assume them to be or believe them to be. So essentially, you can change people's behaviors, absolutely. You do it all the time, just you probably weren't consciously aware of it before.
I'm either on the leading edge of a huge spiritual awakening, or I'm delusional. He loves me. Right now, he's thinking of the words to tell me. But I'm the only one. And I'm not the batshit crazy one. Okay, sorry. Focus. Yeah, exactly.
Everything will work out. You focus on what you want. You focus on what you want. Neville said, I have to deny the evidence of my senses until my external reality conforms to what I want it to be. So yes, does it feel a little weird, a little delusional per se? Does it feel a little weird, a little different? Even in the worst of times, to focus on something that is not here, that is not present here physically. Yes, in a way, yes, but that is what manifesting is.
When you persist in the assumption, okay, people will help you to get what you want. Is that enough knowledge of free will for you?
Well, in one of your videos, you said it's kind of like putting on a suit, right? People will be like, oh, wow, you're dressed up. They're compelled to say something. And that to me was the best metaphor for it. Meaning, like internally, if your self-concept is dressed up, people will be compelled to treat you differently. So it's more of like a compelling than like you control their entire, like they don't exist.
Exactly.
That's how I saw it too.
Do not interpret people having no free will as you trying to control them, okay? Because the harder you actively try to control people, the more out of control they will spiral, okay?
Okay, so he showed up immediately. I have been talking about connecting with him for a few weeks, and the first thing that he's saying is, I don't understand why you're listening to audiobooks of mine when you can just ask me the questions directly. Good question. He knew that at the time that he was bringing forth this information, it was much ahead of its time, and he was okay with that. And he said that he remembered at that time being in curiosity of after he had died, would he be able to look down and see those that he was so deeply impacting. So he's saying that him connecting with me is closing the loop of him still having a voice in which to communicate. So he's saying he feels blessed or honored in order to be able to still come through and have his voice be part of this work. And he's saying, I shouldn't have used the word work. That's ridiculous. It just is. It's not work. It just already is. He's sweet. He's so sweet.
What's he like?
So what I am seeing of him is we have our soul, and then we have the different versions of us that are in the different lives. And so the version that he is showing up with right now, I am seeing the Neville Goddard version of him, because that's who I sent the ping out to. And he's very sweet, and he's very soft, and he's very graceful, I'll call it. He's got this just elegance to him.
If we can create as we go, but you're saying there
is no as we go,
soul contracts,
because it's all already, everything is at the same exact moment. Everything is simultaneous. So there's no as we go. There's only ever a now moment. So you referencing
like
as
outcomes.
we go is referencing the future.
Well, for example, if you're choosing from different versions.
Okay, yes.
Like if I have a relationship situation, is there any type of destiny to it not working out or working out?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is based on your feeling state. It's like which route on the map did you choose?
Right, but that's what I'm saying is based on the feeling state, or is the feeling state predestined too?
No, not at all. No. The feeling state, there's, let me get more clarity on this. You have within you, everyone has within them the full abilities at all times of the state of the state or energy that they want to drop into. And so once they drop into a state or a feeling state or an energetic frequency, then they have handed in front of them, like this is what is available to you inside of this facet that you just anchored into based on your energy field, your feeling state, your frequency. That's what showed you what was available to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the moving energy, being an energy magician, the frequency, the feeling, those are the choices we make. And then the outcomes all reside within what is available inside of the resonance that you are in. There's also what do you need first? Do you need the thought or do you need the feeling? Always go towards the feeling, and that then will define the logic or the thoughts.
So we all have desires. I am unique, I am rare, but we have to detach and love and trust ourselves and the universe enough to allow it to happen.
It's funny. I mean, some of these law of assumption coaches are kind of cheesy. No offense, Robert Zink.
Miracle mentor and alchemy success coach. And oh yes, today we are soaring high like a big, beautiful eagle. I like nightly pillow talk. You go to bed, you hug that pillow and pretend it's your lover, and you whisper to them, you want to see me. You can't wait to see me.
If you think I'm hugging you, you're on one pillow. No, Robert Zink. I will not. I will not. Hello, cat. Hello, bunghole. Why do cats do that all the time? I am worthy of love and wifedom. Is wifedom a word? It is now.
Imagine only such states that are of value or promise well. To attempt to change circumstances before we change our imaginal activity is to struggle against the very nature of things. There can be no outer change until there is first an imaginal change. Everything we do, unaccompanied by an imaginal change, is but futile readjustment of surfaces. Imagining the wish fulfilled brings about a union with that state.
And you say to your body, today we do battle. Today, this is it. And you sit through that and you make your way, even though your body's trying to get up and you keep settling it back down. I'm telling you, when you start your day that day, you will be more kind, more loving, less judgmental, more patient, more present, because you're mastering the present moment. That means you're not in the predictable future. You're not in the familiar past. You're mastering time. And so then, if where you place your attention is where you place your energy, and all of your attention is in the present moment, you've got a lot of energy to do amazing things.
You're squeezing and you're milking this energy out of it.
What am I milking?
Despite the anxiety, despite the struggle this last week, like, you still persisted in this.
So now I'm ready to, I want to do some experiments, like the ladder experiment, flowers. Like, I want to do more.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm ready. I am determined to receive flowers. So I'm going to write, I receive flowers. I'm going to carry this with me. I'm going to put it under my pillow. I'm going to carry it with me. I'm going to visualize. Okay, yeah, tell me what's going on. It's going through like a big spiritual awakening, NBD. I don't know why it's not all over the internet, but I guess maybe because it's more complex.
Yeah.
Like, you need to understand, or you have to at least be open to that time isn't linear. Everybody is you pushed out, meaning everyone is like a reflection of your assumptions.
Yes.
And basically it's all done, meaning since time isn't linear, there's all these like quantum physical realities of what's possible.
Okay.
And that you basically are God, an extension of God, however you want to look at it, and that everything in your life is a literal creation from your mind, your assumptions, your limiting beliefs, all of it.
Yep.
Well, that was easy.
I'm gonna be okay, okay.
You can't hurry love. Law of assumption. Love comes easy. Well, even in the songs. Yeah. Mental diet. I'm enjoying this last time alone because the rest of my life is going to be with him. So I haven't gotten any messages. And even though technically there's no evidence of anything, I feel good. I feel okay. Michelle! Hi! How's it going?
Good.
What psychic-y things are you doing?
Oh, I'm uploading videos and responding to clients and booking sessions.
Nice. Ooh, the weather.
Yeah, go look at the bay.
How does Neville feel about trying to get a specific outcome or a specific person?
Okay. So he's saying people are just us. He's like, everything is, we're just reflections. Everybody, humans are just reflections. And so he's saying our abilities, if you are really, really good, really, really exceptionally good at this, going after someone specific is fantastic and works, is a beautiful choice. If you are not good at this, you become a prisoner to your own outcome abilities. So therefore, releasing the details of that person is most often the proper choice, rather than anchoring into a person. So he's saying it's like a graduate material.
Why is it so popular that people want that?
Fear. So people they prefer what they know over fathoming something more spectacular. We, as humans, have he's calling it a travesty, this need to attach to a vision or an outcome that we want is so small and so tight, and it's all based on not believing, not having faith that we are meant for something better and bigger than we can possibly see. So he's saying it's insecurity, it's self-worth, it's disdain for oneself, it's just thinking so small that we really truly are living but the smallest fraction of our actual capacity. He's saying the most important thing, though, to know is that if you are going to play with inside the realms and this knowingness around the law of assumption, you must do it from a playful, generous, light-hearted state, that as soon as you effort and try to contort it, you've dropped out of it. So I'm going to separate my energy from him right now before we move on.
Oh my Goddard.
Yes, oh my Goddard.
It's July 27th, and today's been exactly 2 months since I received the breakup letter. I can't seem to find peace this morning. I can't seem to find faith in law of assumption.
Sometimes I just feel low. I'm questioning, is this really possible that what I want can manifest and create into him coming back into our lives? I still feel sad a lot. I feel the lack of him here. I can still cry almost at the drop of a dime. But that's not someone who believes and knows that they're coming back.
He clearly thinks it's best not to be together. And he's just afraid to tell me. He's just being a coward and he's not telling me. So I'm just stuck waiting here.
It's every single thing in your reality is you. So to even ask the question, is Aaron changing, is irrelevant because Aaron's not outside of you. So inside of this, our worlds, we each are little living worlds. You currently have a belief that it takes time. You currently have a belief that you need to wait longer, that you need to learn more, that you need to be more and up-level more, and then he comes back. So that's what you're getting. So if you were to fully anchor into the idea that things can be instantaneous, he'd be knocking on the door.
Although man moves about in space by movement of his physical body, he need not be so restricted. He can move by a change in what he is aware of. However real the scene on which sight rests, man can gaze on one never before witnessed. He can always remove the mountain if it upsets his concept of what life ought to be. This ability to mentally move from things as they are to things as they ought to be is one of the most important discoveries that man can make. It reveals man as a center of imagining, with powers of intervention which enable him to alter the course of observed events, moving from success to success through a series of mental transformations of nature, of others, and himself. How does he do it? Self-abandonment. That is the secret. He has to abandon himself mentally to his wish fulfilled.
What is the current percentage of the trajectory of Alex and Aaron getting married? You are at 100%.
Pendulum, the pendulum.
Not supposed to touch somebody else's pendulum.
Oh shit. Sorry. Is that true?
Oh, totally.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like an extension of me. Here, I'll clear it. Okay, so here's how I know it needs to be cleared, because it'll go in the opposite direction, counterclockwise. See? It was like, you picked up her pendulum! And so when it's cleared, it'll stop going counterclockwise and then go back to normal.
Okay, there's no projection here at all.
None. Living in the end is referencing where you go to where it is already done. You go to the place where what it is that you want is already there, and you've already experienced all the steps of it, and then right to the end. This is sometimes used with athletes, where before big marathons or the Olympics, they will go into that theta state and they will see themselves winning the gold medal. And there's been a lot of scientific studies done on this.
What?
The rainbow! Look!
What? Oh shit. That's cool.
Oh my God! There is for me, helping clients inside of hypnosis, getting to the subconscious. I do a lot of work inside of hypnosis and inside of theta state, and the reason is because when I work with clients through the front, I'll say I'm going through the superconscious, the ego, and you've got that analytical scaffolding that's already in place. And so if you go via the back doors or the back way, you can get into their subconscious. And again, that happens quite easily inside a theta state. It's easier to change, it's easier to manifest, it's easier to create. And then when they are in the awakened, beta, alpha states, they can pull from it because that door has already been opened of what was created in the theta state. And so it's almost like now there's a recognition, there's a remembering of, oh yeah, I just saw that last week. In the same way that they would have a memory of what happened the other day, they're pulling from that same reference point of what they saw in the imaginal space.
It's challenging going from years of beliefs, of limiting beliefs, and not realizing our power, to going from knowing just because I envision it and imagine it, that he can just come back. It feels almost delusional. I'm going to go inward. I'm going to meditate because I know that there's more to it. I know that there is, and I'm going to prove it.
Well, I think if anyone that I've ever met can do it, it will be Alex. And there's a few reasons for that. One is the way she's wired to bend reality to her will. I've seen it in evidence even prior to the law of assumption, but I believe that it's been turned on for her, how powerful her knowing is. And so I think that alone will really create many things. The more evidence she has, the more neural pathways get created supporting this ability, that will just steamroll and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So yes, I do.
Mommy.
Yes.
When I come back, start doing meditation.
Okay. I promise we will go outside. I'm just going to finish this Joe Dispenza meditation. Bye. Thank you. Thanks.
So as you sit up straight and open up this channel to the brain.
Well, the easiest way to explain this, and I love it when Bucky Fuller talks about everything like radio channels. It's that simple. Imagine that the love of your life, FM, is already playing right now. That's a new reality, okay? Imagine if your dream career, right, FM, is already playing right now on the radio. Meaning that if you turn the dial, right, you turn the dial, you change your frequency, this is your vibrational frequency, right? You change your dial, what will happen is you will naturally pick up the whole reality of that thing that already exists.
We choose the tragedies as well. Did you ever go to the movies to cry? Yes. Did you ever go to the movies for adventure? Yes. Did you ever go to the movies for sex? Yeah. Ever go to the movies to laugh? Yes. Ever go to the movies for horror? Yes. You see, in the projection room of life, that's all happening infinite number of times, infinite number of ways. It's all going on. Every possible movie is going on at the same time. Every possible variation in that movie is going on at the same time. You say, but what about that pain that I'm causing myself? That you say, I'm causing my own pain. Other people will come in and will say, I don't understand why this is happening to me. And I'll say, yes, you do understand why this is happening to you. No, I actually don't. Well, I'm going to prove to you right now, in the few seconds we have, I'm going to prove to you that you actually know that why this happened to you and why you do this. And in every case, that's true. There's never been anybody in my 50, 60 years of practice who has not said, oh, I did know. But they didn't want to know. Now you might say, okay, we'll give you the first one that they didn't know, but why didn't they want to know? And the reason is because they had a value or a fear that was more powerful than what the outcome, the consequences would be, so they dismissed the consequences. I am a God. Better than that, I'm the God. There is nothing else. And you are all with me. And there's only one. And it's pervasive, it's omniscient, it's omnipresent, it's omnipotent, it's all. And that's the only place that's necessary to be and to experience. And that's the kind of discovery can be made in effective, abiding meditation.
It's already done. I meditated last night, I'm meditating this morning, and I'm just trying to stay calm. And so I gotta say, it was Thursday. I was feeling down, like really down. Did my meditation, feeling a little low. And then all of a sudden, on my phone, pops up an email from him. I just couldn't believe it. And the email says he misses Teo and he wants to meet up with all of us and that anything is possible. He waited 2 months and 1 day from when he wrote that letter. And just be in good energy and, just let the new self-concept wash over all of us. And, I didn't get those flowers, but I realized everyone that I hung out with, I kept telling that I was trying to manifest flowers. So it's like, I don't know. And also my mind has been elsewhere. So I'll start manifesting those flowers once, after this part goes well. What are you saying?
Baby wants everyone to come home.
Do you want to see Aaron?
Yeah! I want to see you Aaron right now. I want to see you right now. I want to see you.
Wow. So we met up at about 12:45, and he didn't leave till after 9. When he left, he said it was the perfect day. And it was. It was. We went to the beach, played at the park, we walked, we did all the things. I was just looking at him, just like thinking, this is my person. I don't want anybody else.
This feels like disbelief. This feels like I'm delusional. Why am I doing this? Can I trust you? Can I trust the law? And so it's really amazing to have a coach or a partner in doing this work with. So one of the things that I saw each time when Alex was unsure of what was happening, or it felt like things were really dismal, is that I could go into her Akashic records and also use the pendulum to get a sense of where things were at. So I had seen many times, and we saw together using the pendulum, okay, here is where the return will happen. If you do this, if you keep using the law, here is the trajectory of events. And we saw those happen literally down to the day of when the pendulum said they would happen.
And goddamn, like him with Teo and how much they love each other, it just felt like our family was back together. And well, that's very attractive. But he left. And then he starts saying, oh, well, I could come over next week when you have Teo. So he basically invited himself over like 4 or 5 times. And he essentially told me that, you know, we tried so many times, he's really apprehensive to try again, although he is here. And he does see me changing. And I've been messaging with Michelle, and I remembered, what did the pendulum say? What did the pendulum predictions say? So I looked back, and I can't believe it, but the pendulum was very accurate. And here it is, the pendulum saying he'll contact by July 29th. He contacted July 28th. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of imaginal work where it's just like we're already in a relationship. I'm the only one. He knows I'm the one. He's my husband. And I just keep telling myself, he's so attractive. He's this like monogamous, successful, really attractive guy with a head of hair in San Francisco. And all my friends are complaining, like, there's no good men out there. So it's, you know, it's hard. Like, he has the entire choice of all of the Bay Area, you know, of, I think, really attractive, awesome women. And it feels like the pool is jaded to his favor. The biggest vision that I keep coming to is we're in Teo's, my son's, bed. He has a bunk bed. And I'm on one side, Aaron's on the other side of his bunk bed, and he's reading Teo's story. And I have this baby that is just there. And my arm's out, and my wedding ring is right there. And we're just in this happy scene. And I anchor into that scene a lot. And I'm really excited to see that happen. Just this simplicity of going from complete desperation and sadness and shame to a self-created happy ending. We are extensions of God. And when we get into that theta and hypnagogic state, we're connecting to that creation part of ourselves. It's not just, it's bigger than just a dream. It's our own power, our power of creation. The biggest worry that I have, and that Aaron's reflected back to me, is that how can things be different? We tried so many times and we still ended up having these toxic fights. So how does taking 3 months away, working on ourselves, lead to us being able to have this happy marriage without the same issues that took place? I'm meeting with my stepmom, who wants to meet up for lunch to tell me her concerns about me getting back with Aaron, which I guess are reflections of my own concern. But I think I'm gonna have her buy us lunch. I always like to pick up the check, but since I have to sit through this, I'm gonna manifest visualizing her. No, honey, I got this. What wisdom do you want to tell me?
As you know, I don't believe that love is enough. I think
Love is not enough?
love is not enough from everybody I know. Everybody feels the same way. It changes, it grows, it deepens, it does a lot of things, but it doesn't necessarily get you through all the bad stuff that life throws at you. I think we can split this.
Sure. I felt like I was totally getting law of assumption down. Aaron was coming over multiple times per week. And although we were being platonic and taking things slow, I was feeling like it's just a matter of time. Everything is falling into place. We had plans for Friday, Saturday, Sunday to go to an outdoor movie, a friend's pool, and ride ATV buggies, and then go to Great America. Day 1, day 2, seamless. It was so beautiful. Aaron and I kind of cuddled up against each other at the outdoor movie, and Teo was having a blast, and it was perfection. I wasn't super aware. I was having some conscious fears of like, well, what about next weekend? Is he still going on dates with other people? I was having an anxiety within me. And day 2, we went to the pool again. It was a beautiful day. And we took a picture together in the sunset, and I felt like, okay, this is great. He stopped by a gas station, and his phone was left inside for GPS, and I just felt like, And I looked into his phone, and I saw texts from other women that I guess he is maybe going on a date with or has already seen. And my heart dropped, and I'd gone through his phone, and I told him. And the whole ride back, Kay was asleep, hopefully. Kay was asleep, and we were just like talking, and my stomach fell down to my... And he told me, he said, yes, we're just being platonic right now. We're taking things slow. Like, I need to see in time. And until then, I'm free to do what I want. You're free to do what you want. And I just came home like a mess. I couldn't sleep the entire night. And I have to be careful about who I talk to, because people are just going to reflect my fears and my limiting beliefs. So, tell no man, as Neville Goddard says. While manifesting, just know. And it's really easy to hear in my ears the concerns of people who love me. And I still want to do this law of assumption work. Like, I do think that there's something there. I'm not giving up. I really want to focus on my self-concept again and finding that abiding joy. I had a compulsive moment. I went through his phone, and then I told him.
It really does not matter. Really does not matter. And none of the circumstances do. It's, those impulses to look to check the phone, check the social media, check the 3D.
Yeah.
That's something too that really does, as we really get acclimated to that new state, the urge to even do that completely subsides.
So I had a few days where I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. Did I want to pull back and take the risk of spacing myself from the relationship and just going into the imaginal and just trying to work on myself? Or do I kind of play by Aaron's probationary period?
And in Neville's own words, when you drop your desire in consciousness as a seed, confident that it shall appear in its full-blown potential, you have done all that is expected of you. To be worried or concerned about the manner of their unfoldment is to hold these fertile seeds in a mental grasp, and therefore to prevent them from really maturing to full harvest. A seed must be let go. I can't hold it in my hand. A seed must fall into the ground and die before it's made alive. You want something big in this world. You're holding onto it. It hasn't dropped. That's why big things don't appear. You have a death grip on them. It's the little things that you don't care about that do. And that's in Neville Goddard's own words.
Do you think I'm using law of assumption as a crutch?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me how you really feel, Jamie.
Well, you know, I felt that at the beginning. I mean, it is a very, very powerful, and I believe accurate. It's a law, but how does an ego break the law? By doing what it thinks it needs, and that's ego. By doing what it thinks it's got to have.
Neville says that when you dare to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, reason may deny it, your senses may deny it, but if you persist in your assumption, unmoved, knowing that it's already done, then it'll come to pass. Your assumption will harden into fact because you get what you believe. Yeah.
So Joshua Tongol wrote back and he said, if you look at my channel, I don't have many like attractor-specific person videos, even though it's very popular. And he quoted Neville, and I say to them, no, you don't. You want to be happily married. You don't want that man or no man. Oh yes, that man or no man. Then of course this always shocks them. I say, if he dropped dead right now, would you want to be married? Well, he isn't going to drop. I didn't ask you that, but if he dropped dead, or at this right moment accused of being the world's greatest thief, would you still want him?
What he's saying there is you're fixated on the person. You need to be fixated on the state. You need to be fixated on the state of love, first and foremost, because he sees what everybody typically falls into when it comes to manifesting an ST, and that's putting him on a pedestal, getting obsessed, looking at the 3D, like all of those. Yes. Like Neville saw that too, and he talks about that in other lectures. Yeah. So he wasn't trying to say like, oh, don't manifest an ST, because he, like you said, he manifested his wife. He would be a hypocrite to do that. He was trying to push the point of like, you're fixated on the wrong thing.
Now, as she would sometimes lose faith, we could also use the pendulum to see that those timelines had changed and dropped out. But as soon as she moved back into the trust and the knowing of the law of assumption, those dates went right back to what we had seen as the highest timeline.
Like, who knows? You can change how you feel within a day. What matters is that my state and my knowing about myself is calm. Like, when you know, you don't freak out. I wouldn't have freaked out about the stuff that I did if I was in that state of calm. And all he's been asking for is a calm person, which is what I've been asking for in myself. So it's this ironic mirror, this, maze of mirrors.
A cat. I fired the monster.
Oh no, but it was just the cat?
It sounded like a monster.
Monsters are only what's in our head. The monster's in our head. Did you know that? We create our own monsters. That's what I was just talking about.
Oh, creating monsters?
You got schmutz.
Huh.
Like, I've never been like a huge fan of for me, horoscopes or the moon is in this fucking Mercury retrograde and that's affecting you. What the law says is that if you believe that to be true, sure, you will be affected. Like, whatever modality or culture you have, obviously, even in Buddhism and Buddhist chanting, you chant into a hypnagogic state and you are visualizing this outcome that you want and you're feeling it. So it's like, there's all these universal truths that are pointing to the law, and that's what I love so much about it.
Shaivism says, Chit Vilas Ananda. Consciousness, Vilas, play, Ananda, joy. So if you put those together in the way we speak, it would be the blissful play of consciousness. It's all that. And all we are is an evolute of that supreme essence that just is. Now you see how, as we talk about it that way, we're coming very close to what the essence of religions are saying. Even the God in the sky is all, everything, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. We're gods in drag. We're divinity in drag today, looking to recover that we're everything. The meaning is all about the blissful play of consciousness, and if you could wake up to it, you would realize, oh, of course, I now see the whole mosaic, and now I understand why we're here and what we're going through. It is divinity at play, and you will find this in many different scriptures, including the Bible. Divinity at play. There's a section in Wisdom, the Old Testament Bible, where it says, he was my father and I played before him for all eternity. Do you play hide and seek? Yes, you played hide and seek as a child. It's fun to hide and be found. And we're doing that all the time. And
have you read the book The Law and the Promise?
I think I need to.
It's really... So the promise is the awakening, essentially, what some people call enlightenment. I mean, these are all the same teachings that have been taught for thousands of years and just saying different things. The Bible says it, the Quran says it, it's Buddhism says it. It's when it's when you wake up and you become aware of all of this being a dream.
Okay, I want to have a mystical experience. I'm tired of just it being theoretical. Seen it. Like, well, I am ready. I want in. I want in. I'm ready.
I know you are.
Ready.
So there's a practice called self-inquiry. It's essentially peeling back the layers of the ego and finding who you actually are.
How do I self-inquire?
You begin by going into meditation and asking the question, who am I? And your mind is going to try to answer it, saying, "Oh, I'm Alex," but are you really Alex? Like, if you had a different name, would you disappear? Would Alex disappear if you change your name? No. Well, then you're not Alex. Well, I'm my body. Is that true? Because what if you lost an arm or a leg, or what if something happened to your body? Does that make you not Alex anymore? No, of course you always have that awareness of being, right? The point of self-inquiry is to, I guess, get through all the noise of the ego so that we can become conscious of consciousness. And through that, I've had many mystical experiences.
Okay, so
so I just need to pause for 1 second.
Yes.
I start to pop out of my body when we do this work, so I need my Altoids. Hold on a second.
You need Altoids?
So the reason I'm always eating Altoids is because the peppermint oil brings me back into my body.
So Michelle eats Altoids when she starts popping out of her body.
Because when we start talking about lives between lives, I go there.
I never want to be like a birds aren't real conspiracy theorist type of person.
The what aren't real?
Birds. Do you know about birds aren't real?
No.
It's this guy who created this whole conspiracy, but people actually believe that he like put out that birds are like machines and they're not really real. And there's a whole group of people who actually believe him. But he did it to prove that people will believe anything. Come sit here.
I have seen.
Sorry. You've seen what? You're gonna tell me birds aren't real.
Kind of.
Come the fuck on. I can't sometimes.
Up until now, I've been so self-involved with specific person catching that I forgot to wake up. How many of us just want to achieve this 3D goal?
Most. Not all of them. Not all of them, but most. I'd say 85%. But most people are very egocentric. That's the point. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
And may I point out the irony that my biggest resistance to law of assumption is feeling so egocentric? Who am I to think, right? But the irony is that to actually step into your power is to step into your everythingness.
Yeah, to step out of the ego. I know, it's
whoa,
irony of ironies. Like, I'm the master of everything. I rule the world. Like, I was very turned off by that at first too. That's not at all what this is about. Not even close.
I'm so over this limbo period, but I'm so over this limbo period. I have to be careful what comes out of my mouth, you know? But yeah, I gotta get back on the like Sylvester Stallone, like do 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 do, like that time in the movie where it's like, no bullshit, let's do this. Where it's like, okay, maybe it's the crescendo in the movie where it's like, oh, I lost faith for a minute, things were looking bad, but now it's like, no, I'm just gonna like give my all. I'm gonna give my all. Cause like, man, this has gotta end well. I've been shooting this for a few months. Can you imagine? No, it's gotta end well. Law of assumption will be proven. It'll be fine.
Mommy, cute. I'm gonna skip you. Hi.
So these flowers were left downstairs and no one claimed them. And then the doorman was like, you should have them. I got my flowers.
I have something to show you. Ta-da! Pretty too, right?
Oh, they're beautiful.
And this was random, okay? So I have a doorman, and there were these flowers sitting there for like a day. And I was like, oh, who are those flowers for? And he's like, you know, they're unclaimed. There's no card. And you know, he's like, you should take them because... So this is yesterday. I said, I should, shouldn't I?
Yes. Yes, you should.
I mean, that is the most random way to receive flowers.
Yeah, that would you ever be able to consciously conceive that's how you'd get them?
Never. Because in my head, I was like, I told everyone that I wanted to manifest flowers. It was like the big thing. So who could give them to me since I was telling everyone what I was trying to do?
Right?
Well, I guess the universe found a way.
That is amazing because I know that was the thing, right? That's been
gnawing at me. Like, I can't manifest these fucking flowers.
One day before the pendulum predicted, we're having a conversation about what we are and this limbo period we've been in. And I said, you know, I don't know. I'm pretty much ready to go to that next step. And he says, well, I want monogamy. I want to go to the next step. But I want you to know it's my idea, okay? Not yours. It's my idea. And I laughed and I hugged him and kissed him and that was it. And the first thing I did was text Michelle. We're in a committed relationship. We did it. And then she texts back, Pound, we needed this.
Not because all of the work is fully done, but because it really spoke to the power of this work and what is possible for everyone.
But the thing is, though, I still feel like I have self-concept work to do because if I just think, oh, I got him, I'm done, then some of the old stuff could come up again.
Absolutely.
So I need to continue. Like,
So,
I'm not
and the
thinking,
self-concept really does how we subconsciously feel about ourselves and what we deserve and what we desire and what our needs are and what our wants are and what we're allowed to have in life is really what defines what we get. So yeah, maybe you would have him, but it would end up, like as you're saying, slipping back into some of the old patternings that did not feel great between you.
I was always imagining him saying, "You're the one. You're the only one I ever wanted." And it didn't come out in that exact sentence. Instead, what he said to me was, "It's always been you. It's been you this whole time." So I don't know. Is that coincidence? Is it... I don't know. Like, was that going to happen anyway? Did I compel him? I mean, that's the thing. I guess we'll all never know for sure, but it's pretty uncanny. Pretty uncanny. And that's the thing about all of this. It's like, I think the design is that we're not meant to know for sure. That's what makes faith. It seems like the design is that we're all gods in drag who came here to forget and then remember. And part of that awakening process, we're going to be up against a lot of questions and limitations and things that really appear real. You know? I lived my whole life thinking that things were being done to me. I had to awaken to my own self-responsibility. Any war within myself that results in the interactions with those around me are an opportunity for me to deal with my unfinished business. Yes, I got my manifestations, all of them. But I only got them once I was willing to kind of let go of needing them. The desperation that I had. So there's a lot of irony in this process, because like, I got my specific person. Our relationship is absolutely like better than ever. It's healthy. I just wanted him. I just wanted that ring on my finger when I started. And then as I got deeper in this process, I realized that there's nothing that can replace the inner joy. And I know that I sound like a hippie right now, but it's true. So if you want to fast forward through that process a little bit and not have to live through those mistakes, then read the content of teachers that you believe in and trust. Look at the lives of the teachers that you follow. And really be careful of what you ingest, because you really are what you take in. As someone who has done a lot of this work and started off just like everybody else, just wanting to desperately manifest out of this heartbreak, manifest some more abundance and all those things, instead, I was able to find myself, or rather find my nothingness, my oneness with all of it. And I gotta tell you, the ups and downs of the specific person journey, it's all part of the process, but what I really learned was the opportunity for an awakening within myself and to be my own specific person. And that really, we're all connected anyway. And this is all for our greatest good discovery and just the whole play of consciousness that we're in. And if you've come across me and you're watching this video, well, I guess you're ready also for the next iteration, going beyond our external, asking those questions. Why are we here? Okay, let's say we're the operant power and we learn how to manifest, then what? Then what? So existence is absurd and mysterious and ironic and so juicy and so many things. And when you step into your power, it's just a lot more fun and a lot more peaceful. And I want everyone to get a little taste of this. So, get off your phone or your device or whatever and meditate. Meditate on this. Ask yourself, as I'm about to, who am I? Who am I?
When I'm blue and the